Hello, my name is Ryder, James Ryder. For my FMP, I'm going to be working on a album release, doing a bigger project than my previous FMP, which was an EP, a 4-track EP. So I'm aiming for something bigger. I'm going to go for between 6 to 10 tracks. I'm looking to have a conceptual nature to the album, building off of the sort of ideas that I had in my last EP, which was based off civil unrest and distrust in authority figures. I'm going to be building on those kind of themes, but also adding the ideas of mechanisation and modern warfare and nuclear tensions of the world, which is really nice. I'm going to be doing this so I can show progression both through my performance standpoint, doing a more technical extreme metal kind of performance, as well as developing my mixing skills and as well as my mastering and my releasing of said material. I'm going to show progression with my recording techniques as well, stuff like miking up the drum kit. I've learnt a lot since my last EP and how I've recorded drums since then, so I intend to put that into my release. Like I said, I'm aiming for between 6 and 10 songs, so an album's worth, or maybe a long EP. So I'm looking for 20 plus minutes of content, around about 25 minutes. For my research for the album, I've been looking at different ways of, well, I will be looking at different ways to do recording techniques. So here I've spoken about the setup of the drum kit itself, because the setup of how the kit is laid out is going to be quite important to how I'm actually able to record it, and also my performance standpoint as well, like elements like raising the store up so that means I can play for longer and play harder. Things like raising the cymbals higher than the tom mics, so there's no bleed on the microphone, so it makes it easier to mix. I've also looked at using different overheads, different positionings, different kinds of microphones, like small and large diaphragm condensers. I've also been looking at making new guitar tones off of a video I found online, which is called Awesome Metal / Gent Guitar Tone, which is interesting to what I'm making. Off of a YouTube channel called Malvic Music, I think. It's all using stock Logic plugins, amp simulators, pedals, things like that. I also tested out this guitar tone that was used in the video. I put it into a track, and then a track that had drums and guitars recorded for it, and then I added the video's guitar amp simulator and compared it to what I've used on there, and what I've also evaluated what I think about it as well. So I was kind of unsure about it for the song, but I did talk about how the fella's guitar in the video is going to be more accustomed to metal music, so his Mark 9 49 Custom is going to be better than a Fender Jazzmaster Squire, even if I have used more traditionally metal string gauges, like 12 to 60. In a drop A, it's still not quite a beefy guitar for it, so it's not going to have quite the same tone to it. But I did speak about how there's elements that I could do using external plugins and to make the tone more how I want it to be. With problem solving, there's going to be a lot of potential problems that can come up, especially since I'm going to be recording, performing, mixing, mastering and releasing the music myself. So it's going to be a heavy workload, so I'll have to maximise my efficiency as much as possible. But there's always a large array of problems that could happen. Some of them could be like writer's block. I simply just don't make the material that I plan to, which would make me have to minimise the overall project itself in order to meet the deadlines. Things I could do for writer's block would be listening to varied music, try and gather inspiration, practicing techniques on guitar, just learning new techniques in the genres that could be beneficial to me writing and recording. Speaking of recording, I could run into various problems with recording drums. Some of them may be studio availability, say I'm not efficient in booking the studios well enough, and perhaps the studio's taken when I want to be able to record it and send it back. However long, it could be a couple of days or it could be a week. It's difficult to tell, but in situations like that, it would be trying to ensure that I do have the right studio time so that I can keep progressing in my project. The mixing and mastering process can have a whole range of problems. If I, say, in the recording process, don't get quite the right level of clarity with all the mics, say there's quite a lot of bleed with the hi-hat mic and the snare mic, then it may make the snare difficult to mix, which could bring me into a whole load of problems. So a way I could fix that for drum recording could be to just maximise my effectiveness and efficiency with the recording sessions, making sure that I am correctly miking up with the mics that I want to use and taking advantage of the facilities available. I could find issues within the releasing process. Say I fall behind on my deadlines and I don't quite get all the material that I want done in time. Say I've successfully recorded 8 songs for the release, but I've only been able to record 4 songs with drums. Then there's going to be a discrepancy between the songs that have the drum recording and the songs that only have MIDI drums on. Now I want consistency between the whole album, so I'd only want to release the ones that would have the studio drum recording. So making sure I don't fall behind on my goals and making sure I stick to my timetable is going to be the most effective method of doing that. I'll also be relying on collaborating with an artist from Exeter College CCI. So I will have to give them the relevant criteria for what I'm looking for the album artwork, and also making sure that it's getting done effectively in a good time frame so that it doesn't slip behind, because if, say, I get all my work done for it and the artwork's not quite finished in time, then it's going to delay the release of my project, which may mean I won't be able to release the album in time to be evaluated in the last week. But ensuring that I've good communication with the artist is going to be key, and also setting deadlines as well. With my practical skills, because of my wide workload with recording, mixing, performing, mastering, releasing, I have a wide array of skills that I'll be using. One of the big main ones in the forefront of my mind will be performance skills. So playing guitar, drums, bass, performing vocals are going to be key. So I will have to make sure that my skills are up to par with what I actually want to make. And I'm going to need to show development from my previous release, showing more technical playing, and showing a wider range of skills or more, or a different array of skills compared to my last release. For drums, that could include more technical playing, faster, blast beats per se. Using a double kick is going to be a new introduction compared to my last release, which I didn't use. It was just one drum kick, whereas we did a double kick because it's more in line with the genres, the extreme metal world. I'll be portraying my studio skills with miking up the drum kit, so like I said before, it's going to be ensuring I have the right microphones for the job, ensuring I have the right placement of the mics, ensuring consistency between the mics as well. For example, with the tom mics, I'm going to want to use the same microphone for each of the toms, else there's going to be differences with the tone of the microphones that would not be pleasant to mix from. I also know which snare I want to be using for the recording process. It is one that I've dubbed Dick Snare, because it's got fallacies in the background, something scratched into it, which is disgusting. But that is one of my favourite sounding snares in the building. It's got a lot of body and high end to it that works well with metal music, so it's definitely one I'm going to be chasing up to use. For the mixing process, I'll be using a lot of my practical skills. A lot of them will be quite self-explanatory and quite obvious, like EQ, compression, reverb, but I'll be also using more technical tools, things such as flex time, fixing timing errors. That'd be particularly helpful for drums, especially with the fast-paced playing, the technicality of actually performing it. But I'll also be using external plugins that I've accumulated over time. There's a couple that I know for sure I'll definitely be using. One's like the Magma Stress Box, which is a compressor, also expander as well. For the mastering process, I'll be using the BX Master Desk from Plugin Alliance, which is one of my favourite tools to use for mastering. For guitar tones in the mixing process, I'll be using a Silver Llama FX plugin, which it's a guitar amp sim reverb. It's primarily a reverb, but it includes the tone of the guitar amp itself. It sort of adds saturated harmonic frequencies, which can go really well post distortion. There's also another compressor that I'm going to use with the Dirty LA, which is a compressor as well as a saturator, but it also works as a limiter too, which can be very helpful for vocals, guitars, elements of the drum kit as well, like kick and snare. There's also other plugins as well that I may not use, but I think might be honourable mentions. Things like the Devil Lock, which is against distortion, a little micro shift, which is similar to chorus, a thing called a Mishby, which is very hard to describe. It's an amalgamation of LFOs, pitch, distortion, noise, frequency sync rate. I'd use it more for making sound effects with, rather than actually mixing the music itself, because it's very destructive to an original audio track. Or it can be very destructive depending on how you use it. Yes, but I'll also be making use of releasing skills as well. So when I actually release the music via DistroKid, I'll upload the artwork on a 1:1 ratio with 3000 by 3000 pixels in the highest quality I can, whilst keeping in mind that it can only be a maximum of 50 megabytes to be able to release on DistroKid, else it would be too big of a file format. For the fully mixed and mastered songs, I'll be bouncing from Logic in a WAV format in 24-bit, ensuring it's the highest quality to be accessible to audiences. I have created a timetable to stick by for my FMP, including my proposal weeks. I've gone from week 1 to 3. I've also included